Dude, I want to ask, like, just to go back, because you mentioned Joe Riggs there before, and you were saying like he just kind of needs to leave. Is there kind of like, is this like a little bit of hatred between you two, or is this some playful banter? Like, what's the go with you and Riggs?
So yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. And now that I won and he's still running his mouth, I don't really feel bad about saying anything. But Louis Lopez was his guy.
Mhm.
Okay. He moved to my town, and the town's really small, so we get the small town drama, okay? We're juicy up here. And uh I went and trained at his gym, and it turned out to be the most toxic situation I've ever been involved with. He tried to
Really?
get me to go, yeah, he tried to get me to go pro early, um, and I just wasn't there for it. I was sick one time, and I missed practice for like a week. I was in the hospital, and they called me, and instead of asking if I was okay, they were all like, "Yeah, your gym dues are due, and don't come back unless you bring them." And I was like, they were due 3 days ago. I've been in the hospital for a minute. Like, chill out, man. And so yeah, I left, and then he started spreading rumors that I stole his WEC belt from his
What?
gym, and sponsors dropped me because of it. So like he fucked a lot of shit up. And you can say whatever you want about me, but if you affect my money, you have an enemy for life. So
Yeah.
now because of all that Joe Riggs said online, it feels so good that I made his worst nightmare come true, and that's me being a world fucking champ. Something he's never done. But I try to be a better person, but to Riggs, still running his mouth.
Did he ever file a police report about the WEC belt, or did he just sort of put shit out online? How did he sort of spread that rumor?
Everywhere. I did a podcast with a guy that was in New York on the East Coast for a fight build up, and he's like, "Yeah, I just had Joe on, and he mentioned this, this, and this," and I was all like, "Thank you for giving me just more reasons to call Joe a compulsive liar." He called the owner of the local Montana Promotion Fusion Fight League, where I got my start. Shout out to them. Uh, and like the owner of that said that Joe Riggs said that I stole it. His team posts online like, so during the fight buildup, it went from the WEC belt to 3 belts from the gym, and I was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Count this one as 4, because y'all are never gonna have this bitch." Fuck. Like, I just like, even on the microphone, I said the beef should be over. Like, they asked me, and I was like, "That was a good fight. Respect to the dude. It's over." The beef wasn't over, I guess.
So Lopez, the guy that you fought, like being a Joe Riggs guy, like in the build up to this fight, was there tension between the two of you, or was he just more focused on the top? Like, where was this at? Like, how was it between the two of you guys?
So get this, and Joe Riggs and I sold this fight. It was me and Joe Riggs,
Mm.
but back in our MMA days, I was supposed to fight Louis Lopez because I called him a little bitch because he pulled out of a fight from a rainstorm, not against me, but against somebody else, and some of my fans missed the fight because I got moved from second to
Yeah.
first, and he like literally left the arena. So I started talking my shit. Trying to get a rise out of him. I was an
Yeah.
asshole back then. uh and then he fights again like 3 months later, jumps on the cage, and it's like, "Kai Stewart, you're next, baby." And I was like, "What? Like, you can't even spell the word wrestling, you want to fight me in MMA?" And then fast forward, we go to sign to fight twice. The beef is real ugly all over social medias between me and Louis. This is
Yeah.
between me and Louis. And then he goes pro. He goes 0-3. Wait, no, okay. Then he comes and trains with me at Joe Riggs's gym. We do a fight camp together. We fight on the same card.
Yeah.
After he went through some losses and a mental crisis or something. And then that's whenever I left Joe Riggs's gym. And
Yeah.
then he tried to call me out again. We go pro. He goes 0-3. He got submitted in the first round in all 3 of them. We
Mm.
were never gonna fight, so the beef went out the window. The beef went out the window. Like, if we coexisted. We didn't give a shit. He knew he didn't want to fight me in MMA. And then along came bare knuckle, and Louis did enough to earn that shot against me, and the rest. And the beef was between me and Joe, but because of our history, there was definitely still some real beef between me and Louis. So it just made for an awesome show. Definitely the biggest, since it ain't over, like the biggest rivalry in BKSC history has to be, because this is real. I don't know about all these other ones, and I've heard some shit, but this was real. But yeah, that's the whole rundown on all that beef, which,
would you, if they were to say, okay, let's do a catch fight, Joe Riggs versus Kai Stewart, would you do it?
I would need, if they did a catch weight at a reasonable weight. So I think Joe Riggs fights at 85.
Well, that's a big jump. That's a big, yeah.
Yeah. So if he would meet at 70, and I got 6 months to really just put on a little bit of mass, fuck yeah.
Well, he's fought at 170 before, I think.
I think a long time ago. He's getting real old. He's getting real old, but I don't know, man. That fight doesn't even really excite me, because it's like, what does that do for me? It does nothing. Joe Riggs, like I just said, is on his way out, and he probably should never fight again. So there's no need. That is a fantasy fight. That's like, you know what? That's funny as fuck. That is funny as fuck. Then I would become his worst nightmare. Like now he's like having like scary dreams. Yeah, it would turn into full blown fucking sleep psychosis fucking nightmare. Okay. Like, oh, I love it. I love combat sports. There's always something. There's always something.
You know what? It's funny because it just sounds like there's like this drama that just gets brought up, and it's like this little political bullshit that just gets played.
It's
and
petty.
Like, yeah, bro. But you know what? Like, it's in the fight game where it's like, but I feel like you see that in the fight game because guys are just so passionate about what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, they're just so competitive at that nature where like fighters are different humans, man.